Hello, everyone. This is Denise Hansard, your life architect, and I am so excited that I am here with Judy Weber today. Welcome, Judy. This is fabulous.
Well, thank you for having me, Denise. This is great.
I love it. So let me pull up my notes, guys, so I can read to you who Judy is. But I want to tell you first. Judy and I met on Instagram, and we had this lovely conversation and knew immediately how connected we are. And I always love when I have those great connections to share them with my friends. And you are definitely my friends. So there we go. But Judy is a business strategist, a scaling expert, and has Judy Weber Co. That's a boutique consultancy for women in business. And she really utilizes her faith to help women scale their business to that 6 and 7 figures. And I love the faith aspect of it. And faith comes in many different ways. And Judy will say something and I'll say it in a different way. And it's all good because the faith is something that we have. And she also has the podcast Joyful Scaling and has many other things that I'm sure she'll tell you about. But we wanted to come together today and for the next 20, 25 minutes, just kind of talk. And we're going to talk about leadership, Judy. But go ahead and add to your story. But what does leadership mean to you? And what do you see leadership evolving to, maybe even? Don't know.
Wow. Okay.
I just asked a big question.
No, that is a big question. But let me start right here, because as soon as you were kind of setting that up, a story from my childhood came to mind. I was blessed with a great mom. Now it's interesting. My mom, well, it's sad. She was raped at 10 by a family member, and she never really recovered from that. Like that just set her on a negative path for life. Her parents were not super supportive, but despite all of that, she was an amazing mother for me. Very strong. She raised me to be a leader. In fact, on that, the story is, I remember being, 2 or 3, maybe 4 years old. And mom would often say, not just once, often say, hey, Jude, there's 2 kinds of people in the world. There's followers and there's leaders. And I want you to be a follower and you can be great at it. And so it's so amazing how those little things we say to our kids and grandkids can stick with us forever.
Oh my gosh. Well, my heart goes out to your mother. I understand how difficult any trauma is, and that was a huge one. And my heart also goes out to you of having that programming kind of instilled within you from an early age. And at the same time, I commend you because it's made you who you are today. It's part of your journey.
My mom died many years ago, and I often say pretty much every day, thank you, Mom. Whatever you see, if you can see me, is in large part because of you.
Yes, definitely. So you didn't become a follower.
A follower of Christ, but not a follower of, I'm a leader.
Definitely. So, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, so to elaborate on that. So when we're talking about this issue of leadership, I also in life was blessed with opportunities to be in places where people like me shouldn't be. What do I mean? I was raised poor. I have been in the C-suite as, general counsel, director of HR. I've been in courtrooms as a trial attorney, excuse me. And so for a lot of times in my career, I was in the room with a male dominated, environment. And so early on, like, here's what I know. When I first got into the law firm, and I would sit in on these meetings with all the big guys, the big boys. And we were talking about litigation because that's what I did. There would be like they would say something and my gut reaction would be, say this, contribute, but I didn't. Yeah. But who would? The other men in the room. And then I'd say, darn it, Judy, why didn't you open your mouth? So that it's just amazing how, like, when you just got to trust your gut. I think God blesses us with intuition and, with a thing that we should just not be afraid to open our mouth and lead, even if we're in an associate type lower position. If we approach it in a way with confidence and say, hey, I got this great idea. I wanted to put it out there. you know?
I love that. And what I think or feel and know, because I've been in a similar position with you where I was sitting in a room with all my peers and boss, and of course they were all men.
Mhm.
And I would contribute something to where it was like a deer in the headlight moment for them. They didn't acknowledge me or anything like that. And I remember this one specific time that the guy sitting to my right then said exactly what I had just said. And everybody was like, oh my gosh. Well, I think at that point, I was fed up with not being heard. Because I had that voice, don't say it, but yes, say it, and everything like that. But I just stopped him and I said, look, how is it you didn't hear me when I said exactly what he said and you heard him? And my boss looked at me and he said, I don't know, Denise, we just didn't hear you. And I said, no, you chose not to hear me.
That is amazing.
That shifted the whole dynamic from then on out.
Mhm.
Sometimes in a good way, sometimes not. But it took me
Yeah.
many years to get to that point of being in the corporate world and hearing that inner voice, the intuition on this is how to lead. And what I
Mhm.
wanted to say is, as women, allowing our intuition to come through our faith, our heart, and following it from our own perspective, not from a male dominated perspective energy.
Right.
This is how the world as we know it will be changed, is because women can lead from the heart of love and compassion.
Mhm. That's just a great story. And over the years, I learned. So now I have been in such tough situations with judges yelling at me, what I thought at times unfairly, from being, missed over on promotions or whatever the case. Now I feel like I can handle anything, throw anything at me, and I will do it. And, I'd like to think that I would do it with authority and in a way that would be perceived in a great way. But let me explain what I mean by that.
Mhm.
Sometimes, and I'll bet you've experienced this too, Denise, where, you know, I guess your example kind of speaks to it, where you say something in a way that you say didn't come off like a BI, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And shouldn't be perceived as being argumentative or emotional, but yet some may say, like whatever they say kind of makes you feel like that's how they perceive it.
Yes.
So I'm going to say something funny. Does anybody here watch Madam Secretary? I don't even know if it's still on, but don't you love it?
I loved it. Yes.
I learned from her. There are so many instances where there she is, the Secretary of State, and these other men, these Congress people, whatever, are making her, trying to make her feel less than. And boy, the way she just rises above it. I'll be honest, sometimes my blue collarness, and I'm darn proud of it, I'll just lash out and say something that maybe I was like, yikes, I shouldn't have said that. But boy, if anybody wants to have some leadership lessons, just watch Madam Secretary. She handles everything flawlessly.
I love that. And I love that show, but I don't think it's coming back. I think after when everything happened, they didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
And let me ask you a question. What do you see as one of, it doesn't have to be but one of the biggest obstacles for women to really embrace their power, their leadership?
Mm. That's a great question. And I think it's an easy answer. It's ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, even myself every day, why is it that the brain has these negative things? Like, you're going to try that? Do you think you can really do that? It's like we're constantly questioning ourselves. And so we have to be intentional and saying, yes, I will. Like if that thought comes up, we say, yes, I am. And that is where being grounded in your belief system and your faith will say, no, you know what? I know I'm not perfect. I'm perfectly imperfect. And that's enough.
I love that. I always remember growing up. My father was he wanted to keep us all kind of close, no matter how old we were. He wanted us to be safe and to take care of us and everything. And
Mhm.
I've always been that one that just kind of stepped out and did things.
I love it.
That's just who I am. And I can remember coming home and being so excited and telling him what I was going to do. And I could see his face getting red.
Mm.
And I could hear him blustering, going, Denise, remember, you got to live with the consequences. And then I'm like, I know, isn't it exciting?
I love it.
So as you were saying that,
Wow.
I'm thinking, yeah, just step into it. Be curious, have fun with it, because that's what really brings it together.
Mhm.
In building your own confidence is knowing that number one, you can't fail. It's just a part of the journey, you know?
Mhm.
And like you said, it's like, just do it. What's
Yeah.
the worst thing that could possibly happen to you?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Well, if it's really going to hurt you and harm you physically, then don't do it.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. I love this on the idea of confidence. How do we gain confidence? By taking action.
Yeah.
Right. And so and I'm writing notes so I don't forget my next thought. If we don't take action, if we always say, "Ooh, I wish I could," but we don't do it, whether that's speak up at the meeting, or whether that's go for that promotion, or whether it's start that business. And if we just keep thinking, "Ooh, one day I will," but we don't, we're going to be less and less confident and less ready to take that first jump. So we really need to, now it's like, what is her name? Mel Robbins, the 5-second rule.
Mhm.
Count back from 5, take an action, or it's going to be harder to do it. So yeah, that's huge on the confidence thing. And the other thing I want to say is comparison. If we were thinking about, what is holding back women from doing the things they want to do and that they're really, really capable of, is that they keep looking at somebody else and saying, yeah, but I'm not them. And they're looking at somebody else's 10 years in and comparing it with their first day in. And
Mhm.
so of course you're going to lose when you do that.
Yeah. Or I should be further along than I am. And of course, we always love those shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I mean, come on.
They pop up in our brain.
They do. And it's almost like, because I can hear some things going on in my mind, from my past clients or current clients going, but Denise, it's the chicken and the egg. How can I take an action step when I'm not confident? And how do I exude confidence when I need to take an action step? And it's like, oh my God, what would be your answer to that?
I love that question. Okay, I'll give you just an example. Back in 2017, late 2017, I launched my first Facebook group, and I committed to doing a 5-day challenge live. Whew, I was petrified. I mean, and I'm great on stage, but for some reason, this computer thing and whatever the something about it, I was scared like crazy. And I remember in the middle of my first couple of lives, sweating profusely, feeling like I truly was going to faint.
Yeah.
And I was scared, but see, I was prepared.
Mhm.
So I had my script out. All I had to do was pretty much read it and try to smile occasionally and just stay like not fainted and be able to deliver it. But with every time I do it, I got more and more confident, such that I'll be honest, even now, there is that negative in my mind. Who do you think you are? Why are you saying that? Who's going to think that I say no. You just say no to it and you take that step forward. And every time you do it, it gets easier and easier.
It does. It's what I tell my clients and friends and everything. I said, it's a baby step. That's all you got to
Mhm.
take is one baby step, and then be guided to take another baby step. And, it's always that first step that seems to be the hardest
Mhm.
with
Yeah,
everything. So
it
we,
absolutely is. Just that's like the toddler learning how to walk.
yeah,
If the first time they fall down, they're like, I'm done with this. But what do? They get up. They can't wait to get up. And on the idea of a little bit will get you there. Do you know that if you change 1% every day, what does that mean in a year? You will have grown 365%. So it is the little things that can compound into something amazing over time.
it is definitely. Okay, so let's talk about growth. We
Okay.
all say we want to grow until it starts happening.
Mhm.
And then it freaks us out. And then we get afraid. And I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, growth and change is scary. Our brains don't like it. They think they're protecting us by saying, no, keep it the way it is. It's fine. But it all goes back to, what do you want? and it's interesting. This question is one when I ask my clients, it's like deer in the headlights, truly, where they're like, "Ooh, I never really thought about that." And of course we didn't. We're too busy taking care of our kids, our grandkids, our parents, our neighbors, church people, everybody but ourselves. And so I encourage the ladies watching to really give some thought. And I love taking pen to paper. I used to minimize the importance of journaling. It's pivotal. Write down, what do I really want? And sometimes from the trauma of life, by now in my 50s, it's easy to say, "Oh, I can't do that. It's too late." But it's never too late. If you're breathing, it's never too late. So what do I really want my life to be? And you get rid of those limitations. And for just even a moment, you think about, what do I really want? Because I really think, Denise, too few actually have done that, or at least lately. So if you don't know what you want, how are you going to be able to get there?
Yeah, it's that clarity. It's the clarity that everybody is seeking. And they tend to be somewhat afraid because, number one, change, like you said, it's difficult. Our brain wants to keep us in it because that's our comfort zone. I could go on and on about that. We're going to leave it at that. And it's like choosing, deciding, and make it easy. It's kind of like you're saying, what do you really want? I ask my own people around me, my clients and everything. And I say, think back when you were a child and someone came to you and said, what do you want to be when you grow up? Be in that space as you're writing out everything that you really want and see how it feels. Because that gets you back into the fun of things. Again, it's just that curiosity methodology, which is a great way to be when you're growing.
That's so true. I always say, to your point, go back to that 4-year-old little girl you were. When, I have great nieces, they are 5 and 3. They want to be ballerinas. They want to be singers. They want to be the president, or doctors, whatever. It depends on the day. That's why I'm saying all those different things. But they truly believe in that moment. Of course I can.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's just a known thing. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Judy, so we're coming up on 20 minutes and I like it to keep it short and concise because I understand how much is going on out there in the world. Give me and give our viewers like one last little tidbit of what you'd like to leave them with.
Okay, then I will leave them with my life mantra, so to speak, which is pursue the impossible. It really follows through beautifully with what we've just been talking about, where we take off these self-imposed, which is what they are, self-imposed limitations. Because if somebody else went on to the greatness that you aspire to, why not you? Only because you'll come up with 1,000 reasons. I could have come up with 1,000 reasons why I couldn't go to law school. People like me don't go to law school. I don't have money, and I didn't, but it got paid, right? I don't have any influence. I don't know anybody. How am I going to get a job when I come out? Well, I did great in school, and I got a job because I did great in school. I mean, so all these things, we pursue the impossible. First, identify what that impossible thing is, and then go for it. If this is something, but you first have to commit to it. And to your point, decide that this is what you're doing, and then take little actions every day to get you there. And if stumbling blocks come up, say, yay, this one came, it gets me, failure is a part of it. So great, here comes a stumbling block. I'm going to get through it or over it or whatever it takes because I know where I'm going. Failure is a part of the process. Nothing's stopping me.
Oh, so beautifully said. Thank you, Judy. And thank you for being on today. Now, everyone, Judy has some gifts for you and they're going to be down in the comments. So please, please, please check it out. And we'd love to have more people come into the group. So thank you, Judy, again. Thank you, everyone. And we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.